I want to move back to each of our speakers. First, I want to thank you all so much. Excellent presentation, a wonderful Q&A. Sometimes when we've covered all of this information, there's some key takeaway thoughts, a little nugget you want our attendees to leave with. Any final closing remarks that we can share? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Carmel.
Thanks. Yeah, I think just as key remarks are closing that, one of the things we covered a great deal about, but synthetics are still a challenge today with enterprises, and we see that because they're able to get past your current defenses, and they're also having a lot of success with some of these synthetic symptom solutions, and that they're not able to capture just the whole group of synthetic identities. So what I would say is that it's important to really understand how synthetics are impacting your enterprise individually. I think that each enterprise, just as we see synthetics with a lot of different behaviors, I think they're impacting enterprises differently as well. But having a better understanding of how they're impacting you will help put together a unique defense for fighting against this problem.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Dee.
Thanks. Again, I think a key component in combating the evolving threat is training. Again, training for your first line of defense, the employees who are responsible for onboarding customers, and the second line of defense, the compliance staff who review transactions and applications on the back end, making sure they understand what synthetic identity fraud is, how synthetic identities are created, how they're used to build credit, and the transaction patterns that we talked about leading to a bust out. And again, like both Carmel and Sandeep talked about, it depends. You have to define what synthetic identity fraud would look like for your particular institution. And so when you're able to identify it and define it, then your training topics should be based around the detection and common red flags that would pop up in your institution and how you can identify it from there. And a lot of that is based around the suspicious identifications, addresses, the proper KYC. And then, of course, everyone on the back end will need to understand what to look for in application validation and transaction monitoring. Overall, the key to detecting synthetic identities is understanding whether or not an identity or a customer's history has evolved naturally or as expected over normal lifespan, or the recent established credit identification and place of living, that type of thing.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sandeep.
Right on, Dee. Defining is the biggest problem. Like I said, almost 5+ years into the problem, and we still don't have a standard industry definition. So don't wait for it. There are severe challenges with establishing a singular static definition for a very dynamic and probabilistic event. And even if we all agree on one today, fraudsters will change MO, and we'll have to change it again tomorrow.
Excellent.
Define a robust proxy depending on your appetite for precision versus coverage optimization, and modify it as appropriate down the road. And then the one last point is we really, as an industry, need to come together to collaborate effectively in being able to combat these challenges. We need to be able to think through together, the FIs, the associations, as well as the CRAs, to be able to build a robust solution.